Welcome back, everybody. Real with Omar. I don't even know what season we're in, but we're here live in your studio. Today's special guest is somebody I had the pleasure of meeting her at her place of business, Mimi's Coffee House in Mount Kisco. And she created such an atmosphere in that place and made such an impression on me that I asked her to be a guest on the show. And she said yes. So Mimi, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right. And one of the questions I did have for you, Mimi's Coffee House, how long has it been there?
Almost 3 years. January would be 3 years.
3 years. Mm-hmm. And before, have you always been an entrepreneur, or is this your first venture into?
It's not.
It's
yes,
not.
I had a restaurant before that for 11 years.
A restaurant for 11 years.
Correct.
And you made the transition to coffee. Why?
I actually tend to keep both of them. The restaurant was a few doors down.
Okay.
I had the restaurant for about 10 years before I opened the coffee shop.
Okay.
But with COVID and things being really difficult and not trying to find people to work, so it became difficult to keep both. So
was it the economics of having clients come in or having workers come in?
I think a little bit of both.
Okay.
But more than anything, I don't know if you ever had Ethiopian food. I had an Ethiopian restaurant, and it doesn't really do well as a takeout, even though I have a lot of customers. Yeah, so it's more. Yeah,
so it's a more sit-down experience.
Absolutely.
Right.
So because of that, I closed it at the beginning for a few months, and I opened back up again when we were able to sit people outside.
Right.
We did okay with that, and then winter came along, and it became more difficult
Too
for
much.
me. Too much. Yeah. So I gave that up, but I've always been someone that wanted to work for myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I get that from my father.
And what did he do?
So I was born and raised in Ethiopia. He
Okay.
worked for Ethiopian Airlines, but he always did something for himself on the side.
What did he do on the side?
He grew flour. We had a lot of chicken that we were selling eggs.
Okay.
He was very much a hustler.
So the hustle comes from that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. I like that. I
it
like that.
does.
So the coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna throw some shots of the coffee shop into the episode for people to see that.
Yeah.
First off, why the coffee shop? Like when you had the restaurant, you said why did you come up with the coffee shop? I had another coffee shop owner on my show, and I'll tell you her why. Her why was because she's a champion of integration, and in the area she grew up in Hunts Point, there were no coffee shops for people. Like there was nothing for people to actually sit down and be a community.
Yes.
And to her, that was super important. So important that she went and she opened her own coffee shop against all odds. And it's still there today. It's there 4 or 5 years later. I think they did something with some sort of crowdfunding.
Okay.
I don't know if you know what that is.
Yes, I do.
Right. So they did something with some sort of crowdfunding to help them during those times.
Yeah.
And I think they're doing well now. She does more like an open mic at night.
Yes.
It's that area. We did a financial literacy event there. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. So why did you open your shop?
So I was born and raised in Ethiopia, and coffee means everything for
In Ethiopia.
Yes.
Isn't coffee from Ethiopia? Isn't that the origination? Let people know.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It's originally from Ethiopia, not from Colombia.
No, it's not. Yes. That's one of the things Ethiopia is known for is our coffee and also our runners, but we'll stick with the coffee. Yeah. I've always wanted to own a coffee shop. I worked in one about 20 years ago in Armonk, and I pretty much run it most of the time for the owners, and I've always wanted to own my own. This was in like 2004, 2005, and it was all about my big competitor, Starbucks, and I was very much intimidated by
Howard
them.
Schultz.
Yeah, so I didn't really think I could compete. So I kind of put that aside. I never really forgot about it because that's what I really wanted to do.
Right.
And I've always thought coffee is so much better than what a lot of people consume here.
Right. Like you can say what you really mean. You mean the crap they're drinking here.
Exactly. It's really not. It has a lot of flavor. It has a lot of character. There's a lot of different notes, how it's roasted. And growing up, you don't drink it with milk, maybe a little sugar. But coffee was something did in Ethiopia to hang out.
Social event?
Social events. Yeah, you go to a friend's house and that's the
Have
first
coffee.
thing.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when I, went around and I've drank Starbucks coffee many times,
Oh
and
my
I always
God.
say, this is not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do it, so I kind of held off. And then I moved down to the restaurant because there was an Ethiopian restaurant in Westchester. And
there wasn't one. Okay.
Yeah, there wasn't one. There was a few in the city, but the food was becoming a little bit more popular. So I was able to find a space in Mount Kisco. So I opened that, which happened to be right around from Starbucks. And for 10
There's a Starbucks
years,
around here too, right?
Yeah, right on the other side of us.
Okay.
So for 10 years, I watched the line out the door. People
driving you crazy?
Yeah, walking with their, cups and 2-3 times a day.
Driving you crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say, I think Starbucks brought the coffee game a lot more than
they made. So they made it like believably a way to make money.
Exactly,
I think, right?
Exactly.
Right, but they had the big corporate machine behind it and some money.
Yeah.
Right,
and they
right.
captured people thinking like, oh, you can go to hang out at the coffee shop, you can have coffee, and so
They made it kind of cool.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I have to give them that. And I said, I still wanted to do it. I have the business plan sitting, waiting for me to find a space, and where I am right now became available. And it sat there for 3 years, just empty.
Really?
And,
Okay.
And every day I went to work thinking, oh my God, I'm going to see the sign down and somebody's going to take the space. But I didn't have.
Were you able to negotiate a decent lease with the landlord?
I did, yes. Because it was the same landlord that I have for the restaurant.
But besides that, it was closed for 3 years, right? So he was like, I'm losing money.
Yes.
Okay.
And they think where I am too, it's not really desirable because it's towards the back. I think it's beneficial to me because of the parking lot.
Right.
I get it. It's not on the main street, but it wasn't, too hidden for people to find.
Right.
So I went for it. I really didn't have the money or the time.
It's always that way, right? Like, like any great thing is never when you want it.
Yes.
It appears and you have to kind of go for it. Yeah.
And I actually read something right around the time I'm thinking about it. It says like, you're never going to have enough money. You're never going to have enough time. You just have to do it.
Yeah. Agreed.
And everybody in my family thought I was crazy. Like, what are you doing? How are you going to do it? But
well, your family comes from Ethiopia, right?
Yes.
So what did most of them start doing when they came here?
So I have 2 sisters in New York.
Younger or older?
I'm in the middle. I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest?
Yes,
Okay,
2 older. And then I have 2 brothers in Maryland. One younger, one older.
Oh, one older. Okay.
Yes,
so you have you're in the middle, like somewhere.
Somewhere,
okay.
yes.
Right.
And they all thought like, listen, we'll support you, but you got to be, cautious in what you're doing.
You got to be real.
Exactly. Yeah. All of them went to school. Everybody has different jobs. Nobody's really worked for themselves.
Everybody's corporate?
Exactly. Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
But they always supported me. They always thought if you wanted to do it, you're going to have to do it. Go for it. And so that's kind of how I end up with the coffee shop.
That's so awesome because when I opened up a liquor store in 99 and nah, man, my family wasn't supportive. They were like, yo, you're crazy. Like, I went to NYU, I graduated, and they thought I was going to go into corporate America.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't for me because I don't want to say anything was broken. I'll just say that it just, when you're somewhere and you're like, I'm more than this, right? So that became my thing. But it's good to hear that you had support. I didn't. My mother first came from Puerto Rico, no English, took any job she could get. So she was coming from that mindset, like, yo, be secure. And I'm like, what you did enabled me to look a little further past security and maybe look to, thriving. And I try to explain it to her, but it's funny how most entrepreneurs, you would think everybody's like cheering you on, right? And sometimes they're like, oh, even if they're being supportive, they're always going to edge it with,
are you sure?
Be careful. Everything good?
Is everything going to be okay? Yeah, because you do, especially the restaurant, you do have to sacrifice a lot.
Yeah,
your
it's
time,
your life.
You're there from morning to, night.
Well, just to let people know, what time, like you have Mimi's Coffee Shop, which is a beautiful place, and I want to go into that a little more, but what time do you get there? You have to prep? Like, how does that work? Yeah, just so people understand, like, you have people that say, I want to open a coffee shop. Look, me and my wife talked about opening a coffee shop. I don't know anything about coffee. I was like, it sounds nice just for the ambiance.
Yes.
But what's the work behind it?
A lot. So I always say, if you're going to open a business, if you have the chance to work in that business, first, it's the great way to
learn, right?
To learn,
right. Yeah.
But I usually get there, like today, I put my son on the bus and I run over there. So I get there by 8:15.
Okay. But and when do doors open?
7:30.
Oh, okay. So they're open already. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I have 2 people in the back doing all the baking and making all the wraps.
Right.
And then I have one person that opens up, get all the coffee ready. As soon as we open at 7:30, the second person comes in.
Is there a line at 7:30?
Not so much. Sometimes there is, but not like 3-4 people.
Well, let me break this down. Before the pandemic, when were your busy times?
So we opened a year before the pandemic.
Okay.
So we weren't really well established.
Oh, okay, okay.
So that actually 2019 was kind of like a struggle a little bit.
Tester year?
It was a tester year. Yes. Like I said before, there is Starbucks. So people walking to Starbucks, they will see us.
They're like, why would we go there?
They will come by. But it was a very slow year for us. So it will be busy on the weekend, but it was very unpredictable.
Well, mate, what do you think makes it busy? At what point?
The middle of the day.
Okay.
I would say between 9:30, 10 o'clock to like 1 or 2 o'clock. I think people, either already at work and they want to get out and get coffee, or it's lunch.
Because they're working at home?
Yes, exactly. They're working at home. But when in 2020, I worked pretty much every day, and I had like one other person helping me in the morning, and then they'll go, and I stayed open until 4. So I can count with 2 hands how many people walk through the door.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. But I was just determined not to close and sit home, because at that point I've already closed the restaurant because I couldn't handle both. And then the thought of just closing the coffee shop and sitting home was very hard.
You ever heard the story of the general who brings his army and burns the boats? You ever heard that story?
No.
So basically it's like they storm the beach. They're going to go fight, and they're outnumbered. And they're like, oh, we don't know. He goes, burn the boats, because either we're going to win or we die.
You die.
And that to me is representative of that, because like, listen, you will go to your job and you don't know if anybody's gonna come in, but you would determine, like, I don't care. I'm gonna show up. I'll be here until somebody comes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the more days and the week went on, and people know that I was open, and they came every day, and they'll tell other people, and that more people will come. So a few months into it, it really was, I was maybe doing 20 or 30% of the business that we did before COVID, but it was getting better. And as soon as and for some people, it meant a lot that I was there.
Yeah, having somewhere to go.
To get out of the house and say, okay, the coffee shop is open, so we'll go get coffee.
Yeah, I remember when COVID first started, everything was closed, and you would drive. Yeah. And it would look like Will Smith, I Am Legend. Like, it was crazy. Like, it was dirt all, because sanitation, nobody was working. It was just wild. So having a place for people to go was important. And I go to your spot, like when I do a podcast and stuff, I'll go to your place maybe 2 or 3 times a day, right? And there's never anywhere to sit. Yeah. What's the deal with that?
I think it's just everybody tells me it's like the vibe there is really nice, and it's inviting, and that's always what I wanted to do. I had it in my head, and I didn't know how I was going to put it out. Right. But everything wasn't there from day one. I had to add
piece by piece.
Piece by piece. Right. Yeah. So when I see something I thought it would work, I add it there. And I just, I wanted to create a place where it was clean, it was inviting, with good food, good service, and people will come. It might not be the first day or the second day, but eventually people will.
How do you feel you create atmosphere? I believe companies are built on culture, and I believe culture is built on the leader's attitude, right? So everybody's super pleasant when you go into the store. Yes. Like, so is that something you tell them, hey, this is the way I do it? Yes. Like how I want to hear that, because I have problems sometimes telling, I have people who come to work for me sometimes. I'm like, that's nice. That's not the way I do it. This is the way I do it. You can do your thing, but when you're here, this is the way we do it. Yeah.
Pretty much. So I always tell them, like, from day one, when they come for interview, I said, every day I'll come to work, I'll be pleasant. I'll have a smile on my face no matter what's going on in my personal life. At home,
leave it outside.
Leave it outside. Yeah. So you'll get the respect and the treatment from me that I want from you, for me and for the customers. I know everyone has a problem, we all do, but sometimes when you're at work and you're in a place where you have to see other people, you just have to be positive. And I don't know, to me, it's really no-brainer. I think
it's a no-brainer because you've obviously done a lot of thinking about it. Another analogy we've used in the past is like, we're on stage, right? When we're working, we're not our regular life. Yeah. We're being whatever professional we're supposed to be, and people are watching all the time. Yeah. So like when I used to work at the restaurant, I'd be like, look, everybody wants to feel invited. Everybody wants to feel like they're taken care of. Like you're the only client here. Like that's what you have to emanate to them to create that experience. Yeah. So is that something you tell your people? Because they're super nice.
They are. Yeah. And all I said to them also, just imagine how you want to be treated when you go to places.
That's an easy way of saying it.
If you walk into a coffee shop, do you want somebody to greet you with a smile? Right. Do you want somebody that, if you've been there a few times, know what your drink is? To say hello, have a conversation for a few seconds, and wish them a great day. And this, if that's what you like, then that's what you should do to other people. And one way or the other, it will come back to you.
Do you ever get any type of like resistant friction from people?
No. Okay. And it's funny because I do somehow, I don't reach for it, but I get people who kind of believe in that attitude or service.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe, like you say, like now we can talk about energy, right?
Yeah,
like you put out energy, you get certain energy back.
Yes. And I can feel it, like when they come for an interview, and I can sense who's going to be, with me, a good fit or not. Okay. And I've had people, I'm not going to say everybody there was great. I've had people where I had to tell a few times when I get a feedback from customers, like, you really can't talk that way, or you can't do that. So there are days where even the people that I have now, like you can't.
Well, that's that's human, right? That's being human, right? Exactly. The imperfection is what makes us perfect, right?
Yeah. So even if they're not in a good mood, or they don't feel good, or something is going on in a personal life, so you have that few minute or day, hours, whatever it may be, that I still have to say. Just remember.
Yeah, take a second. Like, you're only here for 8 hours or whatever, right? So put it on, right? Yeah. Put it on for 6. Yeah. Then you go back to your regularly scheduled program. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Is the coffee game cutthroat?
It's not really.
Okay.
I think everybody's...
So, let me open that up.
Yeah.
So you have Starbucks across the street, whatever.
Correct.
Do you think you're taking their clients, or do you feel that there was an underserved market that you have now kind of made a community out of?
Yes.
Right?
I believe in the second one. There were people who went to Starbucks because that's all there was.
Right. There was no other option.
There was no other option, but they desire for more, more something like that I created, like a good coffee, a good place to sit.
I think experience is everything.
Experience is everything.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
And when that's not there, then you just go for whatever is there.
Right. So you kind of settle.
Exactly. You settle. And so when I opened the coffee shop, people were super excited to say, I think that's what this town needed. And I think we'll be there to support you. And the people who love whatever they get from Starbucks will continue to go there. There are people who come and get like their baked goods from us and get their coffee from there, or vice versa.
Whatever makes them happy.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think for me, I've noticed that people are truly, genuinely supportive of like somewhat, maybe me, I would say, just to make sure that I survive.
Okay.
So even if they like the coffee they got from somewhere else, they will come and get something from me.
Okay.
Just to support, just to say, we got you back.
Well, the fact is that, they're seeing the owner firsthand. That's the big thing. Like, so you have a big corporation like Starbucks, which, shout out to Howard Schultz. He did a great thing. But there's a thing I call dilution, where, you have the brand and you have the coffee, but certain Starbucks are going to do better than others because of the employee factor.
Absolutely.
And that's the part you can't replicate that. You can, like, McDonald's was a great example of, hey, man, we do this, the burger this way, but certain McDonald's do better than others because of the human factor.
Exactly.
And the fact that nobody wants to leave your place obviously shows that you're making them very invited to stay. So when people that stay there the whole day, I'm not asking you to shout them out because I don't want you to create any enemies. Yeah. Do they constantly buy?
They do.
Okay. Yeah. That's most cool. All right, you guys can stay there.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people will really come there and sit and start with coffee and then come back and get some,
something else.
And they are aware that they're sitting there. And, I do have a business where I have a lot of expense that I need to cover. Yeah. So they are very supportive. But going back to other coffee shops, I know a few around Westchester.
Okay.
If I can name some.
You can name whoever you want.
Climbing Wolf in Dobbs Ferry,
okay.
First Village in Ossining, Black Cow in Pleasantville, the Good Witch in Hastings. These are all people that I know individually.
In the business?
Yeah.
Do you guys go to trade shows and stuff?
They do like the latte art, like all the baristas like compete and making the design.
Do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that occasion we all get together, but a lot of times they will come to my place. When I get a chance, I'll go to their place.
Right.
So those are businesses that I will call if I run out of cups or
something.
Lids
right. So you guys are actually supportive of each
absolutely,
other.
Absolutely, 100%. And
was it always that way?
I really don't know, but to me, it's been like that since I started.
Yeah.
I knew these people right around before I opened and some of them right after I opened. And it was really incredible to have people to call and say, oh, do you have this? I just ran out of it and I didn't get my order in, and they would be more than happy to share whatever they have.
What about during the pandemic? Did you guys converse?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
what do you get? Because that's important. It's like a support group almost.
It really is. It's like a therapy, a support group.
No, definitely.
They would call and say, so what are you doing? Even when it came to like applying for the loans that were available.
Yeah, how you doing it?
How you doing it? Who did you go to? And just figuring out how to staff, where to get, product that they needed. It was really nice that everybody has each other's cell phone. We would call, or we would be, texting and just supporting and encouraging and saying, yeah, this is what I did. It worked for me. I don't know if it's going to work for you.
I don't think people realize how important it is. First of all, there's the mindset of scarcity and abundance, right? So like most people, I believe, and you can talk to somebody for 5 minutes and know where their mindset is. I don't know if you've done that, right? A lot of people come from a perception of scarcity, and what they have to understand that there's 1 billion people on the planet. There's a lot of people who buy coffee, and if I live here, I'm buying coffee from you because you're right there. And if you have a relationship with them, it's even more. So like, I'm not really coming after your guy. Your guy's over in Dobbs Ferry, whatever. It doesn't matter. So it behooves you. So on my side, I feel, as we become more successful, we start, and maybe me saying it out loud makes it make sense to me. As I've become more successful, it's become easier for me to give away information to my peers.
Yes.
I believe, because in the beginning you're so off balance because you're trying to figure it out, and as you start figuring it out, then you can say, hey, like, this works for me, maybe it'll work for you. But too many in the business, I feel, they're still trying to figure it out.
No, I think I 100% agree with you. I think it's like, if people tell me like, oh, I was just up in Mount Kisco and I came to your place, but I live in Ossining, the first thing I'll tell them is like, you should go try First Village. It's a great coffee shop.
Right.
If they tell me they live in Dobbs Ferry, or I'm going to Dobbs Ferry, I'll say you should try this place, because they will do the same for me. And also, like you said, there's a lot of people.
Billions.
A lot of people.
Billions of people.
So it's not going to make you or break you that you're trying to grab every single person, every single,
And the truth of the matter is that if you're going wide over deep, right? Like if you try to grab everybody, you're not really establishing a relationship with your clientele. Exactly. And what people, I believe they don't understand in any business really, the quality of a relationship is what the longevity of your business will be predicted by. Like if you have clients I have clients that be like, they'll get calls from banks and be like, oh, you want to refinance? And they'll be like, yeah, what's the rate? Oh, 2.8. All right, cool. I'm going to call Omar now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I built that relationship. Exactly. Whereas the other clients are just, we're not that deep. They just go for whoever, or, whatever the cheapest, and what in Spanish is a saying says, lo que barato es caro. What it means is whatever is really cheap actually comes out being expensive sometimes. And you're trying to go after the cheapest thing, and all of a sudden you got to pay for this and this, and
spending more.
Right. And people don't understand that yet. They for the most part, these are people that I run into. I run into different people all the time, and I give myself a quick 5 minutes to kind of feel the energy and kind of understand who I'm speaking to, because who you're speaking to depends on anything you say to them. They'll react from where they're at right there in their head, And so I could say something to you and you react one way. I could say something to somebody else who's having either a bad day or just has bad experiences in her life, and they'll just be, they're up in arms. Hey, what's that? Like, all right, man, I just meant, this is what I meant. But I think that's important. I think you creating a community in your coffee shop is dope. It's
Thank
dope.
you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, for example, I sell muffins, croissants, and other things. So a lot of people come to me and says, why don't you sell bagel? We wanted a bagel, because there's a bagel store right around the corner, like right on the other side of me.
So is that why you don't?
I'll send them, because it's a bagel
guy,
bagel place. So, and it's, I think also to me, I've always been like, my business, the restaurant was a struggle, but the coffee shop, it's always been my dream.
Okay.
So I do it to make a living, but not to be filthy rich and to sit home.
Right.
So I don't mind sharing, or saying, there's a bagel store. If somebody comes there, I say, no, there's a bagel store 2 doors down. If you go this way, you'll find it. That's nice. I'll just send them over there. I make sure, and I think about I don't want to be greedy. It's not all about my business, or it's not all about me.
The one thing I've thought about in my business in the beginning, of course, you think I need to make money because obviously you're not making any money. Yeah. But the one thing I've learned, and if anybody watching the show could take anything from it, would be the better your service, the less you have to worry about the other stuff. Yes. And that's hard because they're so worried about the other stuff that they're forgetting the right now. And I'll even open that up a little more, where if you're thinking about the past, you're worrying. If you're thinking about the future, you're getting anxious. You're forgetting to be present. And that's what most people don't get. You can have your long term, but what about your day to day? How are you going to get there? Yeah. And that's what people don't. They it's so busy. Oh, I want to get $1 million. Okay, well, how about you get $100 first? But that's the thing, but the big thing is the quality of the relationship, the quality of interaction. If you really dive down into that, money becomes a secondary. Absolutely. Because I have clients that'll be like, hey man, I want to do this. I'm like, all right, we could do this way and that way. I had one client in particular in January that he was with another banker, and he had I'm not gonna go into his private business, but he had a large amount of money on a down payment that was about to be taken because the other banker couldn't comply and or close the deal. So his attorney called me. His attorney knew me. He goes, "Hey, Omar, I got the situation. What do you think?" I said, "Let me look at the documents." I look at it. I said, "I see a way we could do it, but I got to talk to the client because I got to know, if he's on board." So I called the client and said, "Hey, nice to meet you." And I'm like, "So what happened to the other bank? Just so I need to know what happened here." He goes, "Well, he knew from the beginning it was new construction, and then at the end they told me they don't do new construction." I was like, "All right, so that's crazy." I told him. I said, "Second of all, I said, your tax returns, you don't make enough money." I was like, "You're gonna have to go through this program, which is not verifying your income," which he was cool with. So I said, "Are you willing to do that?" And I was like, "Are you gonna get me everything I need? Because you have to close in 25 days." Wow. So we did it, right? End of the story, we did it. But he was like, "Look, what do I have to pay you?" I said, "No, I get paid by the bank." He goes, No, I got to pay you something right now because I want you to pick up the phone when I call. Wow. So that just and I was like, no, we're cool. He's like, no, I have to. So he did. And I was okay with it. And I picked up every phone call. Yeah. But at that moment, he was like, "Look, you're about to save my $400,000, whatever, it was a big amount of money." Yeah. He was like, "I just need to know I'm willing to pay to have service." Yeah. And I wasn't looking for that. But as I break down my career, I've had that happen a few times, and it's because, when you're perceived as something of value, like going, I don't even know what your coffee costs. Just FYI, I go in there, I love the spot, I love the stuff, that's what I want, that whatever it is, and then I think that's your ideal client. Yeah, right. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's your ideal client. Yeah. So to me, I do when people says, "Oh, I know you guys are not a sit down service, but I'm going to be outside. I'll bring your coffee over." Oh. Just simple things like that. The experience factor. The experience, telling people, "No, I could do that for you. You came here to spend your money to support my business. It's not, if you want to go sit outside, it's no big deal. I can bring that to you." So I think customer service means everything, and just going a little bit above and beyond. A little bit above and beyond without being or asked to. Yeah. Yeah, I think that changes everything. That changes everything. People, it resonates. It does. When you get good service, like yesterday, I was at this bar downtown, and this lady, I was getting seltzer waters. Yeah. But I never had to wait. So I felt like I had to tip her, even though it was open bar. But exactly. I was like, I was like, the service is great. And you want people to know that you appreciate that, right? I think people remember a good service before they remember if their food was good or bad. Absolutely. The experience, again, going back to the experience, like me and my wife go to different restaurants, and we'll be like, "What would you think?" And usually the service will dictate the beginning of what we think. The food was, but it was so great. It was okay. Yeah. It becomes. You remember the person, how they talked to you, how accommodating they were, and if you got everything you wanted. Yeah. And then you say, "Yeah, the food was good," or "The food wasn't so great," but. Yeah. So experience first, guys. Experience absolutely. First. Experience over everything. I think client experience. If you want to build your business and long term blow it up, I think if you invest in the beginning, it'll pay dividends in the end. It will, absolutely. Yeah. What would you say has been one of the big, obviously COVID was a challenge to everybody in a different way, shape, or form. So you opened up in 2019, then we had COVID. And now how's your trending going? How's it looking? Have you created, I see you have the F45 next door, the training camp. Yes. So there's just more people. Exactly. So they have espresso before they go in, or? And they come and get smoothie after. Okay. And we try to collaborate, and they, do like the F45. Sometimes they want to appreciate their clients. They'll get coffee from us. They'll have it ready for their clients. They was
couple times where they took their order and bring it to us, and we have their coffee ready. And when they came in, and they just grab it and went.
There you go,
I try to do that with a lot of the different businesses. And Mount Kisco has really been great now because everyone, whether you have a gym or a coffee shop or clothing store or a toy store or, you know, the British store that's right around the corner, everybody wants to support each other.
They're collaborating.
They do. Yeah. We've been open every the third Thursday every month. All the stores have been open. Like last night we were open until 8. They're going to do that throughout December.
For the holiday shopping?
For the holiday shopping.
Right.
So, I think working with the community, working with the local businesses that you have around, supporting one another, really, in the end, it will pay off.
How involved are the politicians up here?
They're pretty involved.
Are they?
The mayor comes in all the time. She's very accessible. She walks around, she gets coffee. The people that work in the board and the member in the town, they're all pretty friendly and accommodating when they can.
Yeah, Mount Kisco, it has such a towny feel.
It does.
It's so cool.
Yes,
It's so cool.
And it wasn't like that, if I would say, like 15, 20 years ago.
Really?
I think in the last maybe like 10 years, everybody became aware that if you want a thriving town, you would have to,
invest in it. Yeah.
You have to shop in the local toy store.
Right.
You have to go eat in the local restaurants.
So 10 years ago, it would look like different?
There was a lot of empty space.
Oh, okay.
There was a lot of businesses that were going out. And I think it wasn't only Mount Kisco. I think it happened to a lot of small towns.
Okay.
When everyone starts shopping in the bigger,
Or going online.
Yeah, or going online.
Online was the changer.
Yeah.
Right, it changed everything.
We had, all these we had Borders, which was great. That closed. And then a lot of small restaurants and small businesses like bookstores, toy stores, they all start to close. And everyone's looked around and said, oh shit, what's going on in this town?
Right.
And they realized, we never really went to eat there, or we never really went to buy stuff from there. So if you don't, then how could these businesses survive?
You know who's killing it right now on Instagram in Mount Kisco? The Mount Kisco Diner.
I know.
They're killing it. Everybody knows about this diner. Even before I knew they were here, I knew about the diner with the food, with the food pictures.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody.
Crazy.
My kids came up here to eat that. But it's how crazy how social media works,
it
right?
really is.
Yeah. Everybody knew Mount Kisco Diner. And I went to it. I was like, it's a regular diner.
It is. But they do that with their Instagram.
Hard.
Some crazy food.
What the thing is, it goes to show you can drive clients to you.
From far.
From everywhere. Yeah, my kids were in the Bronx. They were in the Bronx at the time. Oh, we went up there.
Yeah,
the pancakes, the this, the that. Yeah. I was like, wow.
Yeah. When somebody told me and I looked up how many people they have following, I was like, what?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think that's a really good example of just you guys are in the same town.
Yes.
And it's a regular diner.
It's a regular
but if you go on Instagram, it was like an exotic thing. And so you were like, we have a regular menu too. Because I was like, is this all you serve? Because
do they have all that stuff they post on Instagram? On a menu,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them is just...
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. But it was wild because to have my kids hear about the place. And then he happened to move over here. So then his business opened up here. I was like, did you hear about that? Like, yeah, that's the block. And, it just became reality. Yeah.
No, it does. I mean, I can see I'm not very much, I'm getting better at it. Like the Instagram? Yeah. But I will put like a nice picture of an iced tea over the summer. And then everybody comes and says, oh, where is that iced tea you guys posted?
No idea how people, when it's so visual,
yeah.
they see something, they want it.
Yes.
They want it. You know how many people, the different shirts I wear in my shows. Where'd you get that shirt? Where'd that shirt? Like it just people really, see it and they consume it.
It does.
Yeah. So that's just another thing, especially the coffee shop. I know it's a physical location, but I believe it transcends because it's almost like a lifestyle, right? Like almost like you have like a bohemian feel for your shop. That's good, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like you expect artists to be there playing like the guitars and like that. Yeah.
Which actually we did. So you were talking about before about having music and stuff. So in 2019 when we opened, we had a local storyteller or a poem writing school. I think it's called Writopia. They were in New York, Katona.
Okay.
They would come once a month. They bring their students. I think it was like once a month, every Saturday, and they will perform, which was great. Yeah. And then once a month, every Friday, we would have open mic, which was a lot of the local people.
Right.
It was put together by a local guy, and we were doing all that, and then let's go back to 2020, all that stuff. So I'm trying to go back into that. And all the arts that I have on the wall at the coffee shop is by different people. So
you sell them?
Some of them are to be sold, and some of them are just for people to see. And they take.
Oh yeah, so the summer when we're going to the winter now, but the summertime, you should have some stuff popping. Yeah.
So definitely, like a lot of pop-ups. I try to work with a lot of women-owned businesses. So I did. Someone was there Sunday. She works for Mary Kate for herself. She had to set up a table. I reached out to this other lady who sells like soaps and oils and things like that. She's going to do a pop-up there. So I try to incorporate other things besides just selling coffee and having the place, because I think the place can be used for a lot of different things.
Collaboration is king.
It really
or queen, however you want to say it. Yeah. No, collaboration
totally.
is king. Yeah, because here I am. I'm in real estate and financing. You're a coffee shop owner. But people that drink coffee need mortgages. And people that are in Mount Kisco might not know about you for some whatever reason, because they just don't. And maybe talking to you will open their eyes, like, oh, it's right here. It's right. It's right here. It becomes a thing. Like,
it really does.
And it's crazy how people really don't pay attention, because I still get questions about what I do for a living. And I'm like, I talk about this every day. They're like, yo, but what exactly is it that you do? I'm like, wow, bro. But I think a coffee shop's a little easier to understand. Like, yo, this is the experience, this is where you could be. Where could they reach you if they needed you to talk to you, if they want to collaborate with you? Where's the best place? And I guess you should speak into the screen when you say that.
Yeah. So the best place would probably be coming to the coffee shop, because I'm pretty much there every day except Mondays. If not, the phone number is 914-864-1646. And you can send me a message on Instagram like you did. Yeah. And that's how we make this happen.
That's how we did this.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how we did this.
Yeah. It is Mimi's Coffee House MK, which is for Mount Kisco. Yeah, but come by, have some coffee, and we'll chat.
All right. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in today. And we're leaving for Mimi's. Thanks a lot.